this recording is to help you with the lesson, literal equations. Now, literal equations we've worked with already because we're just using the concept of isolating a variable. We're still going to use our SAD maps to isolate the variable, only now, instead of having just all other numbers, we are actually going to have other variables present, but the process is still the same. Okay, so we're going to try to relate it back to something that we already know how to do to solve these type of problems. So the first word problem we have says a rectangular living room has a perimeter of 108 feet. Right, so a drawing is maybe needed here to help you out. So if the width is 22 feet, so if it's 22 feet here, what is the length? All right, so we know the perimeter is when we add up all of our sides. So we have 2 times the width, so 2 times 22. We know that is 44. So perimeter, first of all, is 108. 2 times 22, I said, was 44. Plus 2 times the length, and we know the length is x. So we want to figure out what is the length. So what is x? So we want to isolate x. Now in the first one, we don't have any other variables present besides the x, so this is a problem that we're already familiar with. Right? We're going to use our SAD maps and we're going to isolate that variable. So we want to get rid of any subtraction or addition first. So we want to get rid of that positive 44. The inverse of positive 44 is negative 44. So that is how we're going to start this off here. And 108 minus 44 is 64. Oh, I forgot to write it here. Sorry about that. So you have 64 equals a positive 2x. To get x by itself, all we need to do is divide each side by 2. And we get x equaling 32. So the length is going to be 32, and units are very important, so let's go ahead and put down the feet. So 32 feet for the length. Okay. Now instead of having a word problem, we just have our equation here, and we need to solve for c, it looks like, because right here it says c equals what? So again, we're going to use SAD maps to try to isolate c. Now here we actually have 2 variables present. We have the variable c, and I'll point to this real quick, and I have the variable I. Now I we can treat just like any other number, so that's what we're going to do. So using SAD map, I would try to get rid of any addition or subtraction first. So I do have a minus I present. The inverse of minus I is plus I. So I'm going to add I to both sides. So that gives me 6c equals 39 plus I. I still need to get c by itself, so right now I have 6 times c. The opposite of multiplication is division. So let's go ahead and divide both sides by 6. And notice that I am dividing all of 39 plus I by 6, not just the 39 or not just the I. So a couple ways we can write our answer. We can write it as 39 plus I, all divided by 6. So that is one way that it can be written. Or sometimes you'll see parentheses put around the 39 plus I. So either way is okay for your answer to be written there. I'm going to guess that they don't necessarily have the parentheses in there, but instead you'll see it written like one big long fraction. Alright, next, let's see. We are trying to isolate for the variable r. Alright, so we need to get rid of any type of subtraction or addition. Note that in SAD maps, parentheses come at the very end. So it looks like I'd have to get rid of whatever's outside of my parentheses first. And that looks to be v times whatever I have inside parentheses. So I want to use the inverse of multiplication. And I know that the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to go ahead and start and divide both sides by v. So that will leave me I minus r equals negative 24 divided by v. Now technically I am going to get rid of these parentheses. I no longer need it because I don't have a variable out in front anymore. I don't have that value. It's not, we divided by, nothing is there now except for a 1. So technically we can get rid of those parentheses at this point in time. Now to get r by itself, I would need to subtract I from both sides. So that's my next step. So after I subtract I from both sides, I am left with negative r equals a negative 24 divided by v. And notice that just the 24 is divided by v this time. Okay, because we had division in that very first step, only the 24 is divided by it. Okay. And then I cannot leave r negative, so if I go ahead and I multiply everything through by a negative 1, this will turn into a positive 24 over v plus I. And then technically my plus sign shouldn't look like a T, so I am just going to rewrite that real quick there. Alright, so there would be my final answer for R. Right. The last problem I'm going to work through today, I want to isolate the variable m. So I need to get rid of my division first. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 4. Okay. Doing so will leave me with 28 plus m equals 4 times a, or a times 4. Right, I would want to subtract 28 from both sides. So I am left with m equaling 4a minus 28.